Hello, my name is Carla, I am Scaletta and welcome to my video. So today we've got a new Plastober video, and this is going to be the last one of the series, because like I said before, the creator of the Plastober prompt list, which is plastic.pen over on Instagram, he made the prompt list with the aim to make it more accessible for people to join in, so I've been going ahead with the weekly themes that he's set out. And even though I've only taken part in 4 of the prompts for the entire month, I don't feel like I've missed out. I feel like I have taken part in the traditional Inktober challenge without the typical Inktober rules. So this week's theme is daily adventures, and the prompt that I've gone with, because it absolutely screamed out to me, was the prompt for day 27, which is shell. So my smooth brain automatically thinks mermaid, and between you and me, I have a weird obsession with mermaids, and I don't really know why that is. I don't really care for like lore, and by lore I mean mythical legend, information regarding the origins of mermaids and merpeople and all that. I'm not really that bothered. I do find that sort of thing interesting, but I'm more for the aesthetic. So basically all of this stemmed from the word shell. And even though I have an obsession with mermaids, I've never drawn one. And the main reason for that is because I'm too scared to ruin like the perfect image of a mermaid. I would be so disappointed in myself if I couldn't recreate the image I have in my head. Which is silly, because you can give me something that's like 80% human, 20% fish, or something that's 80% fish, and I'll love it. I'll eat that up. So I don't know why I put restrictions on myself. I should just give it a go. So when I saw shell and thought mermaid, I started off excited but quickly got worried because I just didn't think I could execute a mermaid well. I'm glad I decided to draw a mermaid in the end, because I'm actually really proud and excited about the end result. And it's not perfect whatsoever. I've made a few mistakes. I've tried to sort of make it look better, and overall it doesn't really matter because it looks really good to me and I'm really excited about it, and it's sort of gearing me up to draw more mermaids in the future. And that's kind of a big issue I have with my art, in that I love and I'm passionate about certain things, but I'll put myself off from drawing them because I just don't think I can execute them well. So I'm hoping that this is going to break down the first wall and overcome that fear. So basically, the prompt shell, because I was thinking mermaid, I think the first thing people think of when they think shells, mermaid, they normally tend to imagine like a shell bra. But to me, if mermaids were real, and who's to say they're not, I'm pretty certain, or at least I would like to think, they wouldn't really need to cover anything up. It just seems to me that a shell bra would be more of a hassle to deal with underwater. So I channeled my inner Aquamarine, which is a movie that I absolutely love, and I gave her a shell phone. So to tie in with the daily adventure weekly theme, the story behind this piece is that, she's just going about her normal day-to-day business and she's just phoning home. I mean, if you've ever been to the seaside, you must have tried to listen to the ocean inside of a seashell before. and if you haven't, you should try it. So I had a lot of fun making this artwork because, like I've mentioned before, I mainly now focus on digital art, and other than the drawing I made for my last Plastober piece, which is the priestess, I haven't really been drawing traditionally, and this was my first attempt at this. I just sat down. I had gathered quite a lot of references just to get the general pose. I mean, I think the pose that I've gone with is the generic mermaid pose, but I didn't want her brushing her hair or leaning up like the Little Mermaid pose. I wanted her sat comfortably and naturally on some rocks. And I just went in. I went in, started sketching, loose sketch overall, and some stuff I kept, some stuff I changed, and then I just went straight ahead in with the fine liners. And at least to me, it appeared quite quickly that I have no idea why I don't do this more often, because it felt good and it looked good. I was happy instantly with the results. And even though it is sped up, I think you can appreciate just how much time I spent, especially on the hair. I think a lot of the tips I see about drawing hair, especially with digital art, they always recommend breaking the hair into shapes rather than drawing every strand. But for me, when I am drawing hair, I find it really, really therapeutic to draw every strand, and in some cases it definitely doesn't look good. But I would say in this case, it's important that I did do that and add all that detail in. And to be honest, I can't draw hair in many other ways. Even though it's one of my favourite things to draw, I struggle making it look good and natural. And in most cases like this, it doesn't really matter. I'm really happy with how the hair looks, and I'm glad I did it the way I did. This sort of style definitely reminds me of Chris Riddell, who, ever since I've read Scribble Boy when I was young, he has been one of my favourite illustrators. And if you don't know him, he illustrates a lot of children's books, some that he's written himself, most from other authors, and he's just got a particular style that you can spot from a mile away, and I just love it. If you haven't read Scribble Boy, which is my favourite childhood book of all time, you have missed out. You're missing out. I would go read it now, because even though it is written for children, and if you did read it as an adult, you have to kind of gloss over that fact. The atmosphere that it gives is unlike anything I've ever read before. It is a very descriptive book, and every so often you get a really wonderful illustration by Chris Riddell, and it's just perfect. I would find myself very often just opening the book just to look at his drawings, and I was always disappointed that there weren't any more. And I got this book at a school book fair when I was about 7-8 years old, maybe slightly older, and that book and his illustrations are still ingrained in my head to this day, and I'm 27. His art has made such an impact on me as an artist, and I think I need to take a leaf out of his sketchbook and start my own collection of ink drawings. I had so much fun drawing this mermaid, and especially the line art bit, because that's where the detail comes in. I love sketching, I feel comfortable sketching, but using fine liners like this to not only line a drawing, but add in all the detail so that nothing else is needed for it to be complete. It's risky, but it's exciting, and no matter what you put on the page, I think it'll always look good. And I've mentioned previously that I've always been scared to ruin my traditional artworks with colour, things like that. I think this will be the perfect middle ground. And because of the result that I've got out of this piece, I'm just really excited to do more like this. And there's nothing stopping me from taking a traditional drawing or an ink drawing like this and colouring it digitally. I think that would be an even easier fix to my issue. So I've done one of my usuals, and especially with the waves, with the tail as well, I've kind of just winged it, and at first I was really disappointed, especially with the tail, because the way that she's sat, the way I've drawn the tail doesn't really make sense. And if you follow the tail down, you can see that the way I've drawn it doesn't make sense to how it would actually look in real life. But then again, I don't really think it's noticeable. I still think it looks good. And as for the waves, I did look up some reference images of actual waves crashing, but also how other people draw them, but I didn't really get what I wanted from doing that, so I did just wing it. And at first I absolutely hated it, I hated what I was doing, but I think the more I sort of added to it, I think it looks a lot better now. And yeah, overall I'm just really happy with it. One thing I did miss from this year's prompt list is that I didn't really do any spooky drawings. Like last year I based Inktober around an OC that I created, which was a witch named Elspeth. So it had an overall spooky season vibe to it, whereas Plastober was more like day to day. I mean, I could have made it spooky, but I just didn't feel like it. So I think for the next few videos I'm gonna have more of a seasonal feel to it. I have got one piece of self-indulgent fan art planned, but I just want to create autumnal vibes now that it's darker and colder. Jasper would say hi, but he's a bit busy at the moment. Oh, there we go. Anyway, I just want to thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you stick around for the next one. Ta-ra!